Okay, welcome back. You're watching Nonfiction or Fiction, the mastery objective. By the end of this video, future authors will be able to identify the first concept they must know before they start writing their book. They'll be able to explain the difference between nonfiction and fiction writing. They'll also be able to identify the examples of nonfiction and fiction books. Okay, let's get started. Before you put anything down on paper, or sit at your computer and start to type, the first thing you must do before you begin writing your book is you must determine whether or not you're writing a nonfiction or a fiction book. Let's take a look at nonfiction. Nonfiction writes based on true facts. It writes to teach, educate, and to inspire. A few examples of nonfiction books include our self-help books, memoirs, and inspirational books. Now, while nonfiction is based on true facts, on the other hand, fiction writing means untrue facts. This imaginary writing is where the author designs creative stories or fictitious story plots. A mystery novel is a prime example of fiction-style writing. Now, here are 3 good reasons that you might want to think about writing nonfiction. Now, these are not the only good reasons. There are a plethora of reasons to writing nonfiction, but these are just 3 reasons I selected. Reason 1, nonfiction is easier to market to the right audience. Also, nonfiction satisfies our natural desire for knowledge and answers. Nonfiction books, believe it or not, seem to be easier to publish compared to fiction books. Now, I'm not saying that if you're writing a fiction book that you won't get published. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is I wanted you to be aware that nonfiction books are more popular with book publishers compared to fiction books. Not only does nonfiction books have great benefits, but fiction books have their own advantages. When a person writes a fiction book, they can be as creative as possible. In fact, they may expand their creative brain and fly into what seems to be an imaginary world. So, if you're planning to write fiction, be prepared. Take out all stoppers and because you will definitely have to think outside of the box. Future authors, in this video, you've learned to identify the first concept you must know before you start writing your book. You've learned to understand the difference between nonfiction and fiction writing. You've also looked at examples of nonfiction and fiction books. So let's get ready. In the next video, step 1B, we'll look at the term genre. In fact, do you know your book's genre?